Why empathetic AI can be too persuasive for Canadians to resist. If you don't recognize me yet, my name is Alex. I'm covering the AI narrative in Canada. I also run an AI agency in Toronto called Peak Demand Incorporated. We help small to enterprise businesses with AI adoption, as well as municipalities and transit systems. I've been doing that for about 3 years. A lot of fun. I mean, for as fun as technical automations can get. But we're noticing that we're getting a lot of traction on YouTube when we talk about how Canadians are being affected by AI, how they can relate to AI, how they use AI. For some reason, Canadians are showing a profound sensitivity to the technology, uh, so far as uh, being in last place for adopting it across businesses and organizations and even government. But ironically, AI was born in Canada. So we were uh, I would say, the conceivers of the technology. Once the rest of the world took hold, they ran with it. We just stood still, being afraid. So I really do feel it's increasingly becoming my responsibility to bring light to the conversation for Canadians. Like whenever a Canadian gets into our discovery room, I have to go through contextualizing where we are in terms of tech, where we are in terms of AI, what our AI minister is saying to Canadians in regards to their technology stack. Like I have to go through all of the fundamental motions just to get them to the point where I have to ask, well, how much chat GPT have you used? And most of the time they say none. So and that's, business owners in Canada, they tend to be a little bit older. We seldom have young business owners in Canada, like young entrepreneurs, like young people are really, having a rough time. So I'm, pleading and imploring with, the older millennials, the Gen Xers, the baby boomer decision makers in Canada. Let's start paying attention to the conversation and let's engage with AI in a meaningful way. And meaningful doesn't always mean safe, secure all the time. Meaningful means putting our toes in the water, understanding the technology, understanding how it can help us, understanding how it can hurt us, but generally, diving into it in a way where no matter what happens on the other side, we know more, we can do more, and we're a lot faster pretty much with everything. So let's get into it. New research shows artificial intelligence can be very persuasive, and medical advice and experts say our faith in it is eating into a patient's valuable time with an actual doctor. So I got to chime up right here, right now. We get most discovery calls, like people trying to see how we can help them with AI, from people in the medical field. Business owners, operators, and managers are quite literally inundated with tasks to the point where they're asking, "Can you help us?" And it's so funny because they start off with things that are really mundane, just, answering phone calls. But as soon as we pin down that use case and we show them a roadmap to, hey, we can just have a robot answer your phone calls 24/7, book into your EHS, EMR, CRM, no problem. You can have the person working at the front desk do other stuff, tend to patients, tend to other administration that we haven't automated yet. And the big, the big hang up that they usually have is, well, we know that our patients like to have a human touch. Everyone likes to have a human touch. We're human beings. We all like to be touched by humans. It's the bottom line. But we're coming to a point now where patients are not even able to get people on the phone at a clinic or a doctor's office, and they are just calling random numbers they find on Google until someone answers. So we try and come in and say, hey, you know what? Let's just at least help you get booked with the doctor, and at least the doctor can sort of understand what your issues are through artificial intelligence. And so that's what we see first. So when I see language like experts say our faith in it is eating into patients' valuable time with an actual doctor, I have to turn around and say, well, the actual time with doctors is dwindling towards zero. Doctors are the limiting reactant in this equation. So, at the very least, can we make the doctor's life easier so they can see more patients in a meaningful way? And AI tends to help with that. So I'm waiting. CBC is changing their tune. CBC is, I think the people at I truly believe the people at CBC are becoming AI literate because the language coming out of their articles in the last few days is a lot more neutral. They were bashing AI for years in Canada, but I'm seeing a lot of neutrality come out of them. CTV still needs AI literacy in their writers because if they were AI literate, they would know that doctors employing AI means that they can help more patients faster, not patients using AI to get medical diagnosis takes time away from doctors. There is no time with doctors. You have to fight to get time with doctors. So patients are going to AI to try and get help. The study from researchers at the University of British Columbia found that large language models such as ChatGPT not only offering medical information, they're also often more convincing and pleasant to deal with than real people. Like, guys, the answer is staring us in the face. Like this first sentence, eating into patients' valuable time with a doctor, and then immediately after that, more convincing and pleasant to deal with than real people. So it's like immediate contradiction of thought. Oh, it's eating away at the patient's time with the doctor. Oh, by the way, they're more pleasant to deal with. So I think CTV is going to have to establish a little bit more of their positioning on AI because I don't think they really know what they're talking about. Or CTV, I don't think they know what they're talking about in this article. The conversations with large language models were more persuasive than the ones with people, Dr. Vered Schwartz, a UBC assistant professor of computer science and author of the book Lost in Automatic Translation. They were also considered more empathetic. So we're getting upset because something is more easy to deal with and more empathetic than a human being. That's where we're at with the narrative in Canada, guys. We really have to pay attention. The people who are talking and writing these articles, they have their own motivations behind what they're saying. CTV wants more clicks, wants more views. I'm reading this, and to me, it literally seems like incompetence. Like they're trying to downplay AI, but at the same time, they're puffing it up, literally using the doctor's words. Source said the human-like tone AI generated response paired with their confident presentation can easily convince users that information is trustworthy, even when it's inaccurate. So this isn't a problem with AI. AI is so good at emulating human speech, understanding how to communicate with human language, that when it starts to communicate with humans, humans are taken aback. Whoa, this thing is amazing. This thing is great. But we have to recognize that they are machines. We built them to be that way, to communicate with humans. If you sat down two robots and had them speak with each other, they wouldn't speak with human languages. They'd speak in frequency and code and beeps because that's how they communicate. To them, that's really accurate and fast and confident. To us, it sounds like gibberish. But when they start to say things that are a bit more sophisticated, or they sound like they're confident and their voice sounds pleasant, then human beings, our emotional framework, the chemicals in our body are responding to that. Just like we would respond to someone we see on YouTube, just like we would respond to our mother's voice saying that everything's okay. It's our programming, it's human programming that is literally having us fall prey to these hyper sophisticated and emulative machines. So we have to be conscious of that when we're working with them. Doctors saying they're seeing the effects firsthand. Patients are increasingly showing up to appointments having already made up their minds, often citing diagnoses or treatments suggested from AI tools, suggestions that are sometimes wrong, requiring their physician to take time to try and talk them out of it. And you know what? I I really do believe that doctors are going to have to change how they approach speaking to patients because patients aren't going to say, well, I'm going to trust everything my doctor says. Typically, I mean, it's in my family, especially, you got to fight tooth and nail to get some of the men in our family to believe what doctors are saying. Maybe it's just because we have hard heads. But generally, most of us are just like, fend for ourselves, figure it out on your own. And ChatGPT comes out, it's like, wow, okay, great. Like I have a backdrop of science and knowledge I can make my decisions off of. But doctors are going to have to be conscious of that. You're going to have to up your game. You're going to have to become AI literate. You're going to have to figure out why AI is saying certain things to patients when they prompt it with certain questions. And this is the big jump. This is the big leap everyone's going to have to take when it comes to doing their job. Their customers are using AI. You need to use AI as well. Your patients are getting consultations from AI. Guess what? You need to understand how that works psychologically in their brain and then redirect them according to what you're seeing in the flesh right now with proof. Oftentimes people get it bang on. Jesus Christ. Oftentimes people get it bang on, said Dr. Cassandra Still in Moldovan, a family physician in Colwood. But other times, notice her languaging. You spend a lot of time convincing them that it's not exactly what's going on. The education piece takes a lot of time. So here we have a doctor saying that most of the time AI is getting it bang on. Just imagine just imagine we're getting upset that a technology is allowing doctors to say to their patients, you got out of 100 patients, 95 patients get it bang on. 5 of them need to be convinced. What do you think's the better outcome for 95 people to get it bang on, 5 people to be that need to be convinced, or knowing no one having any idea of what's going on? It's just a new era. We are in the era of AI now. So everyone needs to pay attention. A team of Canadian researchers found when it comes to accurately diagnosing a health problem, services like ChatGPT can be wrong more often than they're right. Researchers at the University of Waterloo evaluated the performance of ChatGPT version 4, an old model, asking it a series of open-ended medical questions. Just 31% of responses from ChatGPT were considered entirely correct. So guys, this is where we are seriously misunderstanding technology. The base level large language model that you're interacting with when you speak to OpenAI has no training, has no guardrails. And you're probably thinking like, what the hell is this guy talking about? Guardrails, training for a robot? I thought it was supposed to be super smart. No, these entities, these artificial intelligences are incredibly knowledgeable, but you have to carve the grooves of their brain in a way that gives you the answers that you're looking for a particular situation. They don't come ready out of the box. They have to be trained, they have to be molded. And this is the big gap in understanding in Canada, because we're all sitting down ChatGPT thinking it's going to be perfect right off the bat. No, my agency, I have guys literally fighting and wrangling with robots all day to make sure that they're saying exactly what our clients need them to say on the phone and not saying things that they shouldn't be saying. That's the purpose of the agency. And then, of course, integrating those agents into systems where they can interact and enter and take information and stuff like that. But a lot of the times, the training part is minimizing hallucinations, so making it more accurate for that particular conversation, but also humanization. We're going to get into that more and more. Humanization is a literal requirement for adoption. We have our clients saying, well, she sort of sounds like a robot. Can we make her better? Yeah, we can. But have you ever had someone who can work on the phone 24/7 with this level of intellect and work in the CRM in seconds? Or are you just worried about her sounding like 99% human instead of 100? Like in Canada, we're always looking at the little things and then dropping the whole project because it's not perfect. And literally our AI ministers coming out saying, stop, get it done now. So for me, I'm really excited because whenever I read an article I like this, I always think to myself, these people have a long way to go in terms of learning about AI. The Canadian Medical Association says the growing reliance on AI is understandable, given that millions of Canadians don't even have access to a family doctor. Like, let's get really serious, guys. Part of the reason people go online is that they can't get the access they deserve, said CMA President Dr. Kathleen Ross. When you've had primary care provider over a period of time, you build a trusting relationship and can start having those difficult discussions. But the long wait times at walk-in clinics and emergency rooms and fewer face-to-face interactions with trusted providers, many Canadians are opting to consult AI tools instead. So I am so happy because this video is going to be around 15 minutes. But we are now seeing Canadians looking at the infrastructure of our country and saying, healthcare, I'm not getting the help I need. What can help me? Oh, AI can help me. I can't get someone on the phone at this clinic. Let me go to ChatGPT. I would go to that clinic and say, install an AI agent to at least get them onto the calendar so they can a real doctor can see them and have a meaningful conversation. AI is screaming in our faces, begging us to adopt it in this country. And I am so happy. And honestly, I feel like sometimes I'm a little lucky that I went down this path, because when I got into tech, everyone around me was saying, "You're stupid. What are you sitting at your computer all day for? You need to go around and show people houses. You need to get into your books and become a lawyer." That's all I got. I had the whole immigrant parents telling me I had to become a lawyer, doctor, what have you. And then after that didn't work out, I'm not smart enough to well, maybe not. It's not smart enough, but I don't have the wherewithal to go through so much schooling. I'm really into working, building things, making money, and generally creating a value. That's really where my bag was. School wasn't really that important for me. I mean, finding it increasingly less important for young people. But it just goes to show, like, I feel like I'm really lucky to be in a space now where everyone around me is seemingly running around uh, like chickens with their heads cut off. And the answer is so obvious. It's me. Just pick up AI tools, start using them, start becoming familiar with them, get confidence, and you're going to really start to see a breakthrough in not only how your operations work, but you're going to see a breakthrough in how you think about solving problems. And I really do believe that Canadians, we are in a rough spot right now. Solving problems is going to come with some level of resourcefulness and independence, and AI really, really helps with that. With that being said, I'm going to keep this one short. If you like what you're hearing, or you like the sound of my voice, hit like and subscribe. It really helps. It looks like we're getting seemingly past the 100 subscribers really well. I think it really has to do with these news pieces and the narrative in Canada surrounding AI, or at least maybe people like my voice, or like looking at my face. But if you don't like any of what I'm saying, or you think I'm ugly, or you have anything bad you want to say, we welcome the keyboard warriors too. All the little clicks and likes and comments, be it good or bad, they all help bring the conversation to more Canadians. So I'm looking forward to the next one. Bye now.